Welcome to the Trojan Hour on WIDU 1600 AM, 99.7 FM. My name is Gianni Tadiri, and the host for today's show. I am a game development student at Fayetteville Technical Community College. Today we have a very special guest, being the president of Fayetteville Tech, being Dr. Soros. How are you doing this morning?
I'm doing well, Johnny, and excited to be here. It's a great time. Thank you for the listeners that are listening in today. We're in the first week of school, and so all the students are coming back. We're enrolling students on a daily basis, and it's exciting. The campus is full of students, and things are really happening. Remember that we're there to prepare a future-ready workforce, so your future can start at Fayetteville Tech and lead you as far along the line as you want to go from a career goal.
Yep, and with everything coming back now, everyone's coming in, it's the start. With that starting, how would you say to go into like starting for students who would want to start? What would be good times to try and come into Ftcc? Obviously now we're starting our first semester of fall, or our fall semester.
Yeah, good question, Johnny. So we're enrolling students now. The first day of class was yesterday, and that was for Monday and Wednesday classes. Tuesday and Thursday, today is the first day. But we also have classes that start a little bit later, and we have a second 8-week term that starts in October. So they can come to campus, or you can register online. It's very easy. You go in, you fill out an application. I encourage you to fill out a FAFSA. That is a financial aid application for Pell Grant. There are a lot of monies available to help you pay for college, and a lot of times people leave money on the table because they don't apply through FAFSA. Once you get that, you need to submit your transcript and meet with an advisor so that you can talk about either a program that is a degree, diploma, or certificate program, or we have a lot of courses that prepare students for jobs, good paying jobs here in Cumberland County.
And when you mention transcript, do you mean high school transcripts of like just graduating, you have your high school transcripts, or a different kind? Because let's say there is someone applying who is older and didn't just come out of high school, and they're a bit of an older generation, or coming in to continue their education from maybe a standing point, they had taken a break for some time. How would that work for them, or would it work generally the same as someone just coming out of high school?
Yeah, so for someone coming out of high school, submitting a transcript, probably they're going to look at it on the curriculum side. On the other end, we do have short-term workforce courses, which we used to call continuing education, but with our new funding model, those are workforce courses on the non-credit side. You may not have a transcript or be able to get it if you're an adult and you've been out of education for a while. I would encourage you to go to our continuing education registration, talk to them about a short-term workforce course of your interest or where you would like to pursue an employment opportunity, and they can guide you through the application process there where you won't need a transcript to get started, and we can move from there. Some of you may have prior college credit, and if so, the transcript would be from another community college or another university.
And with like coming in from another college or another source, FTCC is very flexible when it comes to its credits and transfer. Depending on the certain courses, would they be able to apply previous credits to continuing education if it were to apply to the same field that they're trying to come for their continuing education course or their short-term work course?
So that's why it's so important, Johnny, to meet with an advisor. An advisor can walk you through that curriculum crosswalk and help you understand what you've already taken and how it applies to programs of interest that you do have. If you've got credit from another institution, more than likely there will be some credit that you can transfer over either directly into a program, or it may be an elective credit that is required as part of the program. But that's the importance of meeting with an advisor, setting down, developing that relationship. They're the ones that can really help you navigate through. And I just point out that higher education is not an easy journey. It can be confusing, but we have a lot of people on campus that can help you navigate that process. So that's one reason why I would say come to the Tony Rand Student Center, meet with an advisor, talk to them about what your interests are, what your goals are, and they can help guide you through that process.
And like after per se guiding through the process, and like let's say you have some accommodations. For example, I know the school is very accommodating for disability. It is very good with that. What would be some of the things that people would need to look for if they needed specific accommodations for anything they may have medical wise or anything else?
So great question, and we do have a lot of what we refer to as academic support services for students. You mentioned disability. We have a disability support center with a licensed counselor that's there that can help navigate through what accommodation you might need in order to take certain classes and can advise you about those through an interactive process, what would be available to you. And that could include note takers, that can include various things for folks to accommodations that may have a physical disability that they need some help with in more of a technical program. In addition to that, we have a tutoring center. Students that may need a little bit of help or need a little bit more time mastering a topic or a subject can go to the library. We've got a tutoring center there with licensed instructors in each of the areas to help them move through. We have a food pantry for those that are dealing with food insecurity. We also have a success closet for folks that may need dress clothes in order to go to an interview or something of that nature. We also have a number of other opportunities. We have a wellness center. Some students at times, I know it was difficult for me when it came test time, might have anxiety related to cramming for an exam. There is a wellness center where you can kind of work with others and talk through and sometimes play games to relieve that stress and anxiety moving forward. And we do have a program called Yes, You plus Effort equals Success. And in that program, you can ask for and get a mentor. It's called a peer buddy system where many of our faculty, including myself, we mentor students that are interested in having somebody that they can sit down and talk to on a regular basis to talk about where they're at, progress, what they're encountering, and maybe how to navigate through some challenges that they're facing.
And with some of the things that they offer for the student resources to help them accommodate themselves and get to feel better with things, what are some of the also social aspect of things the school offers? You had mentioned a room for them to come play games, which is located at the Tony Rand Center, the game room. What are some of the other things along those lines, not particularly maybe the games, but just for students to connect with their fellow FTCC students, faculty, or staff?
Well, glad you asked, Johnny, because today, Student Government Association is having a resource fair on campus. So there are tents all out in front of Tony Rand Student Center where students can go to a dedicated area that they may have interest in being able to get access to resources from the various things that we've talked about, as well as clubs and other activities that are on campus. Student government has activities all throughout the year that are fun things and useful things for students on campus. We have in our Associate of Arts, we have plays on campus. We have musical events on campus. We have competitions on campus in various areas where students are competing within their discipline in order to apply the knowledge they're learning in the classroom in a real world scenario. The other thing that we have is we have athletic programs. We have 5 athletic programs: men's and women's basketball. Volleyball is in season right now. We also have baseball and women's softball. Those are events that happen. Volleyball, their events happen on campus. Our baseball and softball happens out at the J.P. Riddle Stadium, and our basketball teams play at Reed Ross Gym over on the west side of town.
And for these athletic curriculums, would it work like, let's say, if you were in high school, how you can take athletic programs and they would come as an extracurricular activity, or is it more of a focal point program where it would take over certain things and become that's your more standardized focus point, or is it more of a extra part of your activities that you would do on campus?
So the athletic program is more from an audience participation standpoint because those teams are competing in the NJCAA Region 10. But we do have various activities on campus that students can participate in. The clubs are one thing. They often will go through and have fundraisers and have fun activities that basically are bringing awareness to things that are important to them. I know our nursing program often does things around blood pressure and CPR on campus that creates a learning opportunity. Other students provide various opportunities for students to come in and learn about their program. I know that we have career fairs and trade fairs where we bring employers on campus that allow students the opportunity to engage with potential employers to see what types of jobs, what skills they're hiring for, and what type of individual do they look for in their hiring aspects around town.
And with some of the opportunities we provide for students, a program I'd like to ask about was the High School Connections, where you can bring high schoolers in and they can take college courses. Would they have access to these same resources as a normal student who is not connected to high school, or would High School Connections just be able to go through them, like as if they're a normal student?
So the High School Connection students that come to our campus for classes, they're a Fayetteville Tech student. They have all access to all the resources that our adult students have. And they can participate in the SGA activities. They can go to our athletic events free of charge as a student. They can participate in clubs and things of that nature. So all those things are available to our students while on campus, even though they still may be in a high school, they are a Fayetteville Tech student.
And for the other programs, because we have a lot of programs and which vary from wide ranges to specifically we can go from anywhere from automobile repair, game development, cybersecurity. FTCC offers a lot of them and offers also a lot of really good hands-on learning for people. And though let's say there are people who are more online and can't come to campus, what are some of the resources they can access? Because not everyone would be able to access campus at times.
Sure. So a lot of our programs are hands-on, but they also have online components. And in many cases, our programs can be fully online. One of the things I will tell you, online classes take a lot of determination and self-discipline by a student. But in our cybersecurity, all those classes can be taken online. You can access the same information and the same technology from your home as you can on campus through a network, technology network, NDG network that we've got that allows you to operate the software and equipment remotely. So that's one that happens and can be done remotely. Same thing in our science area. A lot of students will take science online, and their labs are actually, they buy a kit from the bookstore and they conduct that kit and create a video of their product, their assignment, and submit it to their faculty member for grading. So those online opportunities are available. Some of our programs, though, are strictly face-to-face because they do require very hands-on learning. One of those is in our construction trades, our carpentry, plumbing, electrical programs, HVAC. You're actually working on equipment. And actually, second year, they're on the job. They build houses for Habitat for Humanity and Kingdom Community Development Corporation out in Spring Lake. So those are online. But we do have some options for students called a high flex class, where students can actually choose to come to class and be face to face, or they can join the class synchronously online and participate in the class at that point. So we've got different options for students to help meet their work and family needs and time constraints that they're confronted with.
And with all of the programs you offer, are there any personally for you new programs that FTCC is adding that you are excited for or that's coming to FTCC? Because I know FTCC constantly is always evolving with its programs, either adding to their programs or making new ones. Are there any that you find of note in your mind that you think are really interesting that students should look out for that's coming up?
Well, one of the areas, our biggest area is in healthcare. And we're right now renovating a lab in the Cape Fear Valley Health Sciences building to bring cardiovascular technology to campus. That is a new program. It is a program that kind of builds off the radiology, sonography program area that students that already have a radiology or sonography degree can take a few more classes and skill up into a higher paying area of either invasive or non-invasive cardiovascular technology, which is in high demand at the hospital because of their new cardiology tower. So that's one. The other one that we're dealing with right now is, you may have heard recently that a drone company has chosen to locate in Cumberland County, and we're starting a drone program. We've already got a commercial 3D printing lab on campus that will allow students to produce parts, either composite or metal parts, using 3D printers, commercial scale 3D printers that we have in the lab in ATC. We just renovated our mechatronics labs. Mechatronics is industrial maintenance on steroids. Not only is it the maintenance piece, which is what I call the wrench and the screwdriver guy, but it's also the electrical and the programming aspect all into one degree. And students are getting hired before they graduate out of that program by many of the distribution and warehouse centers that have turned to automation. That's an important skill set to have in those programs. Cybersecurity, we're bringing on a new program. It is typically either a 1-year diploma or a 2-year associate degree, but we're bringing a program in that's built on the model of a skills bridge, which is a 16-week course. It does meet 5 days a week, 8 hours a day, but it prepares you in about a 15 to 16 week time frame to take a job in cybersecurity. And one of the things that we've done there is we are right now finishing up a lab that is a unique, one-of-a-kind IT/OT lab. It is a fully automated cell phone simulated production line where we can either create mechanical, electrical, or programming faults where the system either goes down or the system is developing or creating out of standard product, out of spec, or we can hit it with a cyber attack, and teams of students have to come in and do root cause analysis, figure out what went wrong, come up with a solution, implement that solution, try to get the line back up manufacturing.
Giving students a even more hands-on than what already FTCC brings to them, and those resources allowing them to also stretch those things they've learned into a more practical setting, which will also help them prepare them, like you had mentioned, which is really good because schools often teach you things and then also need to also bring in students to make sure they understand what are the expectations when you leave it. And speaking of which, leaving, graduation, and you had mentioned certain things of like graduation and then how some students get picked up before graduation from programs. And are there any things that, let's say that doesn't happen per se at the beginning of someone first leaving, does FTCC offer like avenues or ways to help students network themselves to try and enter the working field for whatever their degree program may be?
Yeah, that is a really important piece, because a lot of employers today are looking for students that not only have the credentials and competencies, but have some experience. So how do students get experience without while they're in college. And so one of the things that we're doing is we're beginning to build learn and earn opportunities. One of the areas that we're dealing with is called the HOPE program. HOPE stands for Hope, Opportunity, and Prosperity Through Education. It is a short-term training program that you can go into in the trades, in the healthcare area, and we're working on building out several others that provides the necessary foundation training and skills that you need for entry-level workers. We pair up with employers and actually give that student a 120 to 160 hour paid internship. In the HOPE program, the course is free, and we align people up with employers so they can get that experience and learn how to apply what they've learned in the classroom in a real world setting. We do that through internships. We have work-based learning opportunities on campus, and we have an apprenticeship program where we're actually taking students, once they get into their second year, we send them through a screening effort, and we match them up with what the needs of the company indicates that they need, and we give that student an experience working in various aspects. So out of the program that you've been in, I know we've placed 3 students to run the technology at one of the local churches because they were in desperate need to have students because of their services spanning two services on Sunday and not having enough people to run the technology.
Yep, and with many programs and outreaches that the school does, there's a few things the school has done, like with the Snyder Baptist Church, where we had 3 students go out and work the tech crew for services and also prep days. Along that with the Point Liberty Project, where students came together and made a documentary along with some people from the community coming together, and it was a really cool experience. I didn't personally help on it. I was watching it as it progressed and evolved throughout it, and was going through it. It was a very nice thing to see how FTCC outreaches to both the community of its students and Fayetteville itself to try and give an experience that would be useful for students, which I think is a really good thing that FTCC often does. So with all of the opportunities FTCC offers, they're all extremely amazing and very much worth looking into. When it comes to students looking at them, how would they apply for them? Because they have all these good opportunities. Would it be as simple as just walking up to your advisor and talking to them about it, or would you need to go through certain application forms before even mentioning it to an advisor?
Well, you can go straight to the college and ask to see an advisor, and they'll kind of steer you through, guide you through the process. We are Cumberland's community college, so we do a lot of work with the community, be it in downtown Fayetteville, where our horticulture students keep the Hurley pots up, be it that we bring, you mentioned the Liberty Point project, that's one, but the Living Law project is another one where we bring the community in and engage them in a conversation that helps them learn about key aspects of the law. But they can go directly to Fayetteville Tech, Tony Rand Student Center, and be able to meet with an advisor and go through the enrollment process and be guided through that process.
And with that being said, we are going to take a short break. Thank you for listening to the Trojan Hour on WIDU 1699.7 FM. We will continue this in a little bit. Thank you very much.
Judge has stopped efforts to relocate FBI headquarters to a D.C. office building. Dozens of people raised concerns about flock license plate reader cameras during a New Hanover County Commissioners meeting on Monday night. Democratic congressional candidate Jamie Agar held a campaign event in Asheville, drawing hundreds of supporters as a race for North Carolina's 11th congressional district enters its final month. Tensions between Washington and Ottawa are already high, stoked by trade disputes and President Trump's inflammatory comments about making Canada 51st U.S. state. Talks are continuing. Town officials in Atlantic Beach are moving forward with plans to upgrade the Circle Beach access point, directing staff to begin permitting a new concrete stage area north of the boardwalk. Mike Rayleigh, NCI News.
I'm Jamie Monticelli, WIDU Radio News. The Fayetteville Police Department is investigating a fatal traffic crash that happened Sunday morning on Legion Road. At about 10 a.m., officers responded to a two-vehicle crash involving a motorcycle on Legion Road at Legion Park Avenue that resulted in a fatality. FAST is excited to offer the student semester pass for the upcoming school year. Students at Ftcc, FSU, Methodist University, and Miller Mott College can ride unlimited all semester long using the Token Transit mobile app. It is $55 for fall and spring, $40 for summer. Unlimited rides within the FAST service area. You must present your student ID when boarding. The Fayetteville Fire Department says, did you know you may have as little as 2 minutes to escape a home fire? As kids go back to school, practice your family's routine. Use a floor plan template to map out your home, find 2 ways out of every room, and draw the locations for smoke alarms and a designated meeting spot outside. From WIDU Radio, I'm Jamie Monticelli.
Tuesday morning, very warm, very humid even still. This is much like we've started the past several mornings. Another heat advisory in effect today as we see temperatures reach the mid-90s, even some localized upper 90s out there, and the heat index peaking between 103 and 108. Overnight, not much relief from the heat. Temperatures in the 70s with just a few isolated downpours prior to midnight. I'm meteorologist Chris Michaels in the NCN Weather Center.
Bless the Lord. I'm Dr. Ann T. Newell, pastor of the Soul Harvest Apostolic Church, the church not just there in the community, but there for the community of Spring Lake, North Carolina. We're looking for more than a few good men and women to join the team. Iron sharpeneth iron. We may have what you need. You may have what we need. Catch the vision. Join the team. Join Wake Up.
Hi, this is Apostle Bernard L. Whitfield, Jr. of Righteous God Ministries, 348 Old Wilmington Road, 910-223-7591. The pastor is Phyllis Vernell Whitfield. Our service time is 9:45 Bible study, 11 a.m. service. Tuesday night Bible study begins at 6:45. And remember, come as you are. You don't have to clean up to get up, but come see us, and we'll be there for you. God bless you. Heaven smile upon you.
Hello, this is Kevin Wester of Destiny Real Estate, and you are listening to Wake Up.
This is Pastor Neil of the New Covenant Christian Faith Church Ministries, 5427 Murkison Road, and I am proud to be a member of Wake Up.
Welcome back to the Trojan Hour on WIDU 1600 AM, 99.7 FM. My name is Gianni Tsaduri, and we are continuing our conversation with Dr. Sorrells, president of FTCC. And coming back, I'd like to circle around to one of our previous topics that was briefly mentioned for financial aid and it coming to payment for students. How do students come along and pay for their classes and other things they might participate in on campus?
So I mentioned earlier the importance of FAFSA, and that is an application that you can apply to for federal grant and aid, and that's a Pell Grant, and so that's money that's provided to you to pay for college. It's free money. It's not money you have to pay back. So that is something that all students need to fill out and take advantage of. Because many can get all, or in some cases, most of their college paid for, as well as some help with some of their subsistence that they've got to live on. We also have a number of programs. The HOPE program has its own funding mechanism. Cumberland County provides funding to help us with that program, so it's of no cost to the students. The actual class doesn't cost anything. The materials and the tools that are available to them doesn't cost the student anything, and they get a paid internship. But we also have a number of scholarships. So that includes state aid that is provided through short-term workforce programs on what used to be the continuing education side of the equation. If those courses are eligible, you can get up to, can't remember, I think it's $75 or more, $250 to help cover the cost of that tuition. And then, of course, we have the Fayetteville Tech Foundation, which is there with certain scholarships that are designated for certain program areas, but then they also have some emergency funding. And one of the areas that I didn't mention on the state aid is the Finish First initiative, which if you're 50% through your program and there's some life event that happens that may prevent you from finishing up, there are resources there to help you cross the finish line and pay for those last costs that you need in order to move forward that were brought about from that emergency.
And to access those, would they just have to go onto the site or talk to the financial aid department within the Tony Rand Center to be able to access those?
Yeah, talk to your advisor, and they will direct you to either financial aid or have conversations whether or not you are eligible for certain financial aid or scholarship opportunities. And then if you are, begin directing you in that path to fill out the application and for consideration.
And with directing paths and how they continue on for their education past FTCC, I wanted to mention and talk about some of the transfers. What are some of the transfer programs that FTCC has? Because you had mentioned some of the continuing education for jobs and also giving them work experience. But what if their continuing education path is not directly into the workforce, but a degree plan that's higher than FTCC has to offer?
Sure. So our largest program area is the Associate of Arts and Associate of Science. Those we have a articulation agreement with the University of North Carolina system, as well as the private college system in North Carolina, where those courses transfer in to the university with all those general education credits. So that is an articulated path that all 16 of the universities participate in. At Fayetteville State, we have the Keene Scholarship, where if a student goes through and they get a 3.0 grade point average, they can apply for the Keene Scholarship, which basically gives them a yearly scholarship toward their tuition and fees to be able to complete at Fayetteville State. The other aspects that we have for transferability, we have a lot of our AAS programs. Our nursing program, many of our students transfer into the nursing program at Fayetteville State or at East Carolina University or at Chapel Hill or at Duke. Those transfer in. We have transfer agreements in many of our computer technology programs, like with East Carolina University. We have transfer programs in public service, like criminal justice, EMS, as well as fire and emergency management. Those transfer into university programs and can help you move forward in advancing. But we also work directly with those universities to do crosswalks to make sure that those courses will transfer. Last year, now this is the way we're rated, it's actually not last year's results, but the prior year. Fayetteville Tech had the #1 transfer success rate of students in the entire community college system for the state of North Carolina. We were the top transfer performing for students in the state last year. So that speaks very highly of the quality of our programs and the students that graduate from those programs that go on. Last year, we had 5 students graduated from our engineering program. All were accepted with a Goodnight Scholarship to NC State University. That is a prestigious full ride scholarship with international study also supported with it. We had 2 students that got full ride scholarships to Ivy League schools as well this past graduating cycle. So it's not only North Carolina, but it's also any of the private and universities all across the United States. We've had some relationship with and have students transfer to them.
And a lot of the opportunities we offer at FTCC for those, not just spanning within North Carolina itself, but expanding outward, is really good for students as well to continue their education and go into multiple programs of different degree areas, and also looking around for what they need. Certain things that the school offers as well is really good. One of the things that I personally think is a really good thing the school offers is the opportunity for Skills USA. Because Skills USA is a very good opportunity for students to both get experience working in a team and also in certain fields, because Skills USA is a very broad category of things it offers.
So I want to go back first to the transferability.
Oh, okay.
And I'll ask you a question as an FTCC student. Who do you think our biggest transfer partner at Fayetteville Tech is?
Our biggest transfer partner for who receives our credits or goes in with our transfers?
Who's our biggest partner for students to transfer to?
Biggest partner for our students to transfer to? I don't particularly think I have a guess of who would be our biggest one, because we have such a broad category of what we reach out to or transfer with.
So we have more students that graduate from Fayetteville Tech and come back to Fayetteville Tech for another degree or a program than we have transfer to the top 7 universities in the state. So a lot of our students really enjoy the experience that they had at Fayetteville Tech and want to add on, either if they're in carpentry, they want to learn something about electrical. If they're in the healthcare program, they might start out in radiology and then want to go into sonography or cardiovascular technology, so that Fayetteville Tech can be a lifelong learning opportunity where you can start out, get what you need to get a good job, come back and advance your learning to advance and promote yourself in a degree. You mentioned Skilled USA. Skilled USA is a great example of one way that we help create student competitions so that the students are required to learn and apply what they're learning in a competitive framework that allows them to see how well they do with job competencies, job expectations in front of employers in applying what they've learned in the classroom. Skills USA is a great example where there are competitions all across the career and technical area, but we also do that in a number of other areas. In the cybersecurity, we've been partnering with the National Guard, and students have been coming from the member institutions of the Carolina Cyber Network all across North Carolina to compete in cyber competitions like Capture the Flag or other Hack the Box competitions that give them the opportunity to apply what they've learned in a competitive environment, much like athletic teams would do on the playing field.
And with something that I felt was actually really a coincidence with that when you had mentioned it is I am doing coming back to FTCC for another degree program, because I originally joined as a game development student, and I'm now continuing my education path forward with cybersecurity to go for more in depth with the technology field. So to have so many opportunities and expansions for both not only my program for game development but also cybersecurity, as you've been talking about it, with all these extra programs and ways that we can network, do more hands-on experience, competitions. It's all an extremely well put together and organized structure that FTCC has. And as you had mentioned, it can be a lifelong learning because there's always so much to that FTCC offers that you could come for and you could learn from with students coming in, whether you're a brand new student or a returning student. There's a lot that FTCC has to offer in so many pathways for you to be able to navigate your way through it. We offer as like both students can see on both physical campus and the websites online for when things are posted from social medias to how they post them on the school site itself. All these different outreaches that we do and the different stuff we offer when it comes to student run, like the SGA or the clubs, or faculty ran for setting up outreaches like Skills USA. It's an extremely, it's really good. And I truly, when I joined FTCC, I found it a little nerve-wracking at first to go through and talk to people with all the different programs, because it can be a little intimidating if you're looking at such a wide view of things. But FTCC, its staff and how they approach students is so welcoming, and how they talk to people, it brings them in. And I say it with the heaviest heart every time I think about it, that I'm slowly finishing up my time at FTCC. I want to add more because I want to stay here because there's so much FTCC offers. FTCC makes it feel, it is an education institution, first and foremost. It always is. But it also makes you feel like it's more of a community with how the interactions between both student, faculty, and how it all comes together with all of our programs, offers, and things we bring to students, which I think is a very much the main selling point I see at FTCC. From a standpoint of someone who's been within it as a student, because I've also done things for the college as well. Like I've done work studies, so I've worked with the college for things which expanded my skills on things that I didn't think I'd find interest in. I had originally started just game development. I transferred over and expanded skills into 3D printing. So the fact that we're adding additive manufacturing and 3D printing for the metal side of it, and not just FDM printing that was added into the ATC building, is a huge step and interesting thing that excites me as well as a student who's found a good interest in this. On top of that, finding cybersecurity as well and going into it, all the different programs we offer for cybersecurity is such an expansion and really good and fun thing for students. It excites them. And also everyone is so passionate at FTCC that you get that motivation and excitement to keep going as well, and pay it forward with that. And even for like newer students, like for alumni or people returning, it's such a warm, welcoming feeling every time because of how FTCC carries itself. It's a really, really good experience, I think.
Wow, Johnny, you nailed it. I mean, what a testimony. Education changes lives. And I think you've heard from Johnny how being involved, developing those relationships, taking a lifelong learning path, there are resources at the college to help nurture you along that journey. We're in the people business, and we're there to build you up and help you reach the goals, whatever those goals might be. Might be going on to the university. It might be going into a job to get an entry-level job to start supporting your family move up. It might be that you're already at work and you need to advance. You've got an opportunity, but you need to upgrade your skills, reskill, whatever, in order to move forward. And so it's an exciting opportunity, an exciting journey. I'd like to describe Fayetteville Tech as a series of entry and exit points from education to the workplace and back, so that you can advance along a career ladder of opportunity and go as far along that opportunity as you so desire. And know that it's affordable, that you can do this in an affordable manner, but it's also built where there are people there to nurture, help, and grow you along that spectrum to reach those goals, cross the finish line, and be able to be proud of the contribution you're making, not only to you, your family, and the community that we serve here in Fayetteville Tech. be it military family, be it a student coming out directly out of high school, an adult learner that's been out of the education field for a number of years. We've got a number of programs, we've got a number of resources available for you. And you just heard Johnny kind of pour out from his perspective and his experience how it's really shaped his life and his journey and where he wants to go, and kind of elevated that horizon from where he started.
Yep, it has definitely changed a lot of my perspective on things, because it is also a very open place. Like you had mentioned, it's a series of open and closed doors, or open entry and exit ways, not open and closed doors, because the door is always open at FTCC. No matter whether you're returning, starting for the first time, you could always enter in, see what you can apply for, what you're eligible, what you can do with it. And it's always so accommodating. It's easy to navigate. You have so many different pathways that you can also enter through, do things with. And even if you find certain parts of, let's say, your current degree plan doesn't fit with what you want to do, and you find yourself finding passion in other things, like I did. I started out with game development, and I found an extreme passion and enjoyment for 3D printing and additive manufacturing. So taking that first step, I think, is going into FTCC and meeting with an advisor to sit down and say what you want and what you would like to see from it, because it gives you that perspective and them the perspective to try and guide you on that final step that you would like to hit. And maybe that final step isn't that what you envisioned. Maybe it's something different entirely, and that's not a bad thing. That's you found yourself with that. Something that I always think about with that is, every time my mother says it to me, is college is where you find yourself. You can find a lot there. You go in there maybe expecting one thing, because originally in high school, I wanted to go in for psychology. I tried it out through High School Connections, funny enough, with FTCC, found it wasn't for me, and I ended up in the game program and where I am today. I've done so much when it comes to FTCC, and since I first started, it's truly that lifelong education path that's caused a complete 180 in the best way possible. Because although it's called Fayetteville Technical Community College, it's called that, I feel, in my mind, because it's a community that's cultivated on campus life, because of how it carries itself and how the school handles things with both its students and faculty.
Well, I mean, you described it very well. I refer to it as the Trojan family. You're part of the Trojan family when you come to Fayetteville Tech. And if you're wondering and listening today and thinking, well, is college for me? There's something there for you. And I'll give you a great example. You heard Johnny talk about coming out of high school and trying a program that wasn't for him. That's a great lesson to learn in life, what you don't want to do. And community college is a great, affordable, low-cost way to figure that out, okay? The other thing that I will use as an example, I had this yesterday, talked with a physician that recently retired. And you'd say, well, now what does a community college have to offer for a retired physician? This individual came back and said, hey, look, I'm retired now. I'm taking a basic home repair class from you, and you got a pickleball class. I'm learning to play pickleball. So there's something there for you. You can afford it. Your future starts at Fayetteville Tech. You can start there. We will work with you so you can finish strong. And your future, we will make sure that your future is such that you are ready to compete in the workplace and support your family.
Yep. That reinforcement is always there, and it's always encouraged for students as well to take those first steps into it, because some students are always, like I was at first, was very nervous. It's maybe sometimes asking for that outreach is a little hard, but it's always recommended, and it is always encouraged, because it is there for you. Those resources that FTCC offers for students is there for you to succeed, because this FTCC does everything in its power to help you succeed. We as both students and from the advisors work together to make the best of it. It is all provided. It's the putting your best foot forward with it, and you go through it. You can work through most of anything, whether it be, let's say you have a problem with studying. There's tutoring and so many things, like you had mentioned before, on FTCC campus that's offered for resources. All the resources for getting experience is also there as well, because again, you had mentioned a lot of jobs now look for both the technical know-how and experience, which isn't a common thing to get if you're going strictly through school. So offering all of these for this lifelong education path, for these open entryways and exits that FTCC offers, allows you so much. And for like the physician that you had spoken to who came in and was, because they had retired, they thought, what more can school offer? And even then, now they're learning pickleball. It's FTCC offers so much in a wide range that it helps. It is, the saying usually goes like, for game development, is a game for everyone is a game for no one, because you're trying to go for one audience. But FTCC hits in such a way that there is a little slice of everything, so that everyone who can come in has a prospective goal, and FTCC will try and offer that goal the best they can. It's a really good thing, and I think it is truly amazing, because with all that it's done, it has been really good for how they do it, and it constantly evolves. More stuff gets added every year, how things change, accommodating more based off student feedback, whether through the SGA or just student submissions, because I know at the end of every semester I get a email saying, hey, what's some student feedback you would like to give to the school? And anytime I've given student feedback, I see it, whether in time or over time, things get implemented to help for more quality of life for students. It's really good, and I think it has truly been a really good experience. Thank you today, Dr. Soros, for coming out and talking with me about FTCC and the wonderful community that the Trojan family has cultivated.
Well, thank you for the opportunity, Johnny, and thank you for being such an articulate student and willing to come out and have a conversation with me. We are the community's college, and we're there to help change lives for the better and create a future-ready talent pool that can help drive economic opportunity in Fayetteville. So thank you so much, and we look forward to seeing you on campus and you reaching your goals.
I do too. And thank you for watching and listening to the Trojan Hour on WIDU 1600 AM, 99.7 FM. My name is Gianni Taduri, and I will be signing off for the day.